Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good start to your day. Unfortunately, I have some technical difficulties with my Instagram live stream. It just won't go. It says there's an error with my broadcast. So, unfortunately, we will not be live streaming on the IG channel, but you are here at our main home, and we'll make sure the people on Instagram know what's going on. But today, we're going to talk about so you hate virtual. There are so many people these days or right now that I'm around that honestly hate doing virtual presentations, and they hate presenting at them, So we're not going to really talk about attending them, but we're going to talk about, actually doing virtual presentations as a speaker. So we're going to talk about that today. And of course, if you have no idea what you're in for, this is Travel the World as a Speaker. I am your host, Phylecia Jones, and what we do here is we talk a little bit about travel and how you can leverage speaking to travel the world and probably grow your business and make some money and all that other stuff. So we're going to talk about that. And the show is brought to you by iFind You Close, where we actually go out and research and find speaking engagements and deliver them to you so that you can go close the deal. So if you want to go check us out, go over to ifindyouclose.com. And while you're there, get the free assessment on attracting high-paid speaking engagements. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here since we are doing all the things. Now, one of the things I have to do right now, I do have to check my sound. I've noticed that my sound is really loud. It's actually not a bad thing. But what I'm going to do is actually bring my sound down so it's not that loud. Hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. All right, so I've turned my sound down. Let's see if I start talking. So it's really hard because I'm trying to talk to you and also listen at the same time. Yeah, so we'll try it here. So sorry about that. I had to do technical difficulties while trying to check the tech. Is that a thing? Check the tech? I'm trying to check the tech while we're doing the tech. All right, so you saw me having to, because I'm on like a 15-second delay, so I hear me while I'm trying to check for the sound while I'm still trying to talk to you. But no matter what, if you ever decide to get into this world of live streaming, if you ever need any help or any tips, by all means, just ask, because I got all kinds of things going on, and we definitely got we got camera switching. If you haven't been keeping up now, I have a new camera. This is the old camera that I'm on right now, but it's been a lot of fun just playing around, because these are some of the elements that you're going to have to do when it comes to being more effective when it comes to virtual. And we're going to talk about this today because so many people are saying they hate virtual. And I'm just like, why? This is actually a really cool thing to get into right now. But first, I got to tell you a travel story, because I try to talk a little bit about travel before we get into all of the speaking things. And what has been a common theme on this show is I don't have a travel story prepared for you. I don't have a travel story prepared for you, but I will tell you one of the things that I did for the very first time 2 years ago. And it was in conjunction with a speaking gig. I got to actually, my husband and I got to take our RV out for the very first time for a road trip. And our road trip was planned around a speaking engagement that I had in Austin, Texas. So we got in the RV. Oh my gosh, when did we got into it? It was like 17 degrees here in Colorado. So we had to get through some of the ice and some of the cold. And we hightailed it all the way down to Austin so that I can go speak at Wanderfest. It was actually put on by Wonderful, which I am a part of the membership, and actually did I'm one of the creator coaches inside of Wonderful. So went down there for Wanderfest for the very first time, had an amazing time, got to show off the RV. So many people came to look at the RV and I got to like be a tour guide and answer all the questions. But that has been one of the cool things about using speaking and traveling, using speaking to leverage traveling, leveraging speaking so I could travel, is when I'm here in the United States, we're able to take the RV with us and take the whole family, which is it was the cat and the dog at that time. My kitty unfortunately has passed away. So it was my husband, my dog, and myself. and we pack all up. I go get to do my thing speaking, and I get the comfort of my own bed when I am done. So I get to save some money from going into hotel rooms. But this was around this time we decided to get in the RV and go down to Austin for the first time. So it was 2019, going down to, for Wanderfest. And that was my very first time in Austin, Texas. Beautiful place. I really enjoyed it. And the RV park that we stayed at was right in the heart of the city. I mean, like smack dab in the city, where I think Black's Barbecue was down in walking distance, and then there were like these food truck lots. One was on the right side, one was on the left side, and we didn't cook at all while we were in Austin because it was like 5 minutes to go get food in walking distance. So if you ever, I don't know the name of this RV park, I have to ask my husband, but it was a pretty cool park, and I've always told him I want to go back there again. But we completely enjoyed it. A lot of full-timers were there, but it was in the heart of the city, and when you walk out the back of the RV lot, you are right on the river there. So we enjoyed it. The dog enjoyed it. My husband enjoyed it. Enjoyed being in the RV. I think we were on the road for about a month at that time. Yeah, so we spent that time in Austin. That was also the time that I got my very first radio interview with the TED Radio Hour. I'm saying it like I've had multiples, but I did not. I had a TED Radio Hour interview because in 2018 I had just delivered my very first TEDx talk. I'll actually show it to you. I won't show it to you, but I can show you where you can go see it. But I delivered my very first TEDx talk, and it caused quite a stir, to the point that the TED Radio Hour, they called me and asked me to come be on their show with Guy Raz, and I was so nervous. I've never been so nervous before in my life, and my only request was, please make me sound smart. And I was like, just make me sound smart. And when I listened to the show, I was with all of these people who are starting schools around the world, and all these big time PhDs, and I just felt so honored to be on the show with them and talk about math and things like that. So Guy Raz was absolutely delightful to talk to and to be on the radio with. So as you can see on the camera, that is my very first TEDx talk for TEDx Cherry Creek Women, and it's all girls are great at math. It was a lot of fun. For any of you that are trying to go after the TED thing, I do it. Just do it. It's an experience that you will never, ever, 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 ever really forget. You really won't. And while I'm here, I have to let you know my second TEDx talk. I've always said whenever I have a platform like this, I'll dedicate it to women in math, and I think it is doing a commercial, so let's hold on for just a second. So he's doing a commercial really quick, and I can skip the ads, and so we can go over to it. But I've always said that if I ever get a chance to do anything like this, that I will dedicate it to women in technology and to something I'm really passionate about. So this is my second one for TEDx Durango. I got a lot of hate on this one. Oh my gosh. You know what? I actually need to, one day I actually need to sit down and you know what? I'm going to like it because I can. I need to sit down and kind of give you some of the after of what happened with these TEDx talks. For my very first one, I got hate mail, like old school, like somebody mailed something in the mail to me. And for the second one, I got a lot of negative comments. A lot of negative comments, but you know what? It's better than nobody watching, I guess. But it was kind of cool. I mean, I got almost 35,000 views, and I got 32,000, within the first 24 or 48 hours of it. Nobody's watching it now. So there you go. All right. So that's my TEDx experience, TED Radio Hour. Being in Austin, having to go and do the interview at the University of Texas was a lot of fun. But what we're going to talk about right now is why you hate virtual so much. There are so many people right now who are absolutely hating the virtual world as speakers. And I'm here to try to address it's not even addressed. I'm going to give you my quick take on virtual. So I actually got invited to my second live in-person speaking engagement. We're going to talk about that one soon. But I got invited to my second live in-person speaking engagement. So I'm kind of going through all of that. But when I was on the phone talking to the person, and they were just saying, they were not a fan of virtual. And I've talked to quite a few other people, especially speakers, who say they don't like this virtual world. And I'm one of those that I love it. I am loving this virtual world. Now, of course, I'm not liking why we have to be virtual, but I think this is probably one of the best times for any and all speakers to really leverage the ability to deliver while you are at home. That's it. I honestly think you should take advantage of this, because once we have the ability to get back on the road again, you're going to have to divide your time between not being at home, creating content, and then trying to deliver all of this stuff on in-betweens and while we're running. Whereas right now, you have the ability to create another asset as a speaker, especially as a speaker who wants to leverage travel. So when somebody says, we want you to come to this event, but we can't fly you out, this could be another option. And I have been loving virtual because I get so much time to try out technology. Now, I might be a technology person. I mean, I just told you I talk to women in technology. When I do go out and do my live gigs, it is women in technology. My background is technology. I'm a woman in STEM. I have tech degrees. And this has been such a fun time for me to sit down and get creative with all of the different things that we can do when it comes to delivering a virtual presentation, like being able to switch all the cameras to see how much my computer can handle without blowing up on me. But I honestly do think, for those of you who are not liking virtual, I want you to be a little bit more open to it. As speakers, it's really easy for us, as speakers and as people who want to leverage speaking, it's very easy for us to just kind of get one-dimensional with all of the things that we're doing. I speak, I show up, you pay me, I leave, that's it. And what I'm really trying to encourage all of you, and even some of the people that are inside of iFind You Close, is you need to have multiple threats that you can throw at people. And the reason why I'm like this is when I was a baton twirling coach, and you probably don't know that much about me in the background. When I was in high school, I was a baton twirler. That actually helped to pay for college. So I was a baton twirler. I was a dancer and a feature baton twirler when I went off to college, and I did a little bit of that. That led into professional dancing and cheerleading and stuff like that. I know I don't. That was 20 years ago. I was cute then. But I also had a twirling team. I had a majorette squad at a high school, and I joined a coach. I joined a studio, so it's Georgia Baton Twirling Academy, and I was one of the coaches. And the woman who ran the event, she was one of those, you need to be a triple threat. So she's definitely old school, very old school woman. And her thing was, she wanted all of her baton twirlers to go to college, but she wanted them to be a multiple threat in many different things. So if you decided to go to college and they said, well, we don't have baton twirlers, she wants you to be able to be on the dance team so that you can get a scholarship for that. And if they said, oh my gosh, we don't have a dance team, but we have cheerleaders, and she said, cool, we're going to be a cheerleader. She was one of those that wanted you to be, to be able to pick up any of those so that you can get the money to go to college. And of course, later on in life, when I did talk to her, a lot of parents started changing how they did things. So you have young people who are only focused on cheer, or very few people focus on baton twirling anymore. It is a very underrated sport, in my opinion, but I'm very biased. And then you have a lot of dancers, and what she always felt was, when you narrow down so much, which is good because you can become good at all of these things, you might be taking away some opportunities for you to kind of basically get scholarships. And we've seen this now. That's back in the days. Now, she was much older than me, And she had a very different way of thinking, and this is how a lot of people thought back in the day, especially with athletes, play basketball, football, and baseball. So when it comes down to college time or getting scholarships, we'll figure out which one works for you. And it's very old school, and I'll show my age with Bo Jackson, being able to play football and baseball professionally. Nobody does that anymore. But I kind of want to go back a little old school when it comes to speaking, and kind of get outside of some of these boxes everybody told us that we need to be in. I want you to be a multiple threat. I want you to be able to become an amazing virtual presenter. I want you to be an amazing in-person presenter. I want you to be an amazing in-person and virtual trainer, workshop deliverer. Is that a word? I want all of these things because what I've learned over the last year is a lot of speakers, a lot of friends of mine who only did one thing. When the world shut down, they weren't able to do their thing anymore. They didn't know how to pivot, and their pivot was challenging. Sometimes there's a pivot and it's smooth, like, ooh. And then there's like, oh, yeah. They had that pivot. They had very rough pivots, but they also missed out on hundreds of thousands of dollars because this was how they built their business. So when they were trying to get into the world of, maybe I'll do a coaching program, it was really rough because they had to go out and start building their audience. And they had to learn how to do tech. And they had to learn all of the different things that online people already knew about business that a lot of them didn't know. And so it was vice versa. We're doing all of these different things. But what I really want for you when it comes to leveraging speaking to travel, to grow your business, to build your authority, I want you to be skilled in many, many aspects. I want you to be able to deliver a virtual presentation. I'm sorry, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I want you to be able to deliver a virtual presentation seamlessly. Have the studio if you have the room, have all of the bits and pieces, have the cameras, have the things so that you can switch back and forth. Because going forward, this is going to be an asset that you need. That's it. You will have to be able to do this because here's the thing. You're not going to be able to be everywhere. It's just not going to be possible. I mean, you can try. And when I was traveling and had to do back-to-back speaking gigs, being able to do a virtual presentation for some of them would have been nice, so that I can focus on the ones that were going to be the most beneficial to me, and then still being beneficial on a camera screen, but making it a lot easier for myself and being able to deliver, dynamically as a virtual presenter. So these are some of the things that I really want you to focus on. Even if you don't like virtual, this is just another tool in the tool shed so that you can still deliver and still, make your money, honey. That is the goal of all of this, is to still leverage everything that we have so that either we can grow our business or, even before we travel to that next speaking gig, you can come home and do a mini session, a mini live session just to get people ready for you. Or you can do a post session. You can be pre-session, post-session, just to get people really interested in you. So that's why I've been loving all things virtual. And you have the ability to record your sessions. Right now, I have to say, when I was live streaming, a lot of my live streaming before was after I came out of the hospital. And I had plenty of time. I had plenty of time because I couldn't go anywhere. So sitting down and being able to live stream daily was really easy. And of course, I had to kind of restart my business. So I was able to get on camera and do it at a regular intervals, not even intervals, the same time every day, just like I'm doing right now. But when everything got busy, I couldn't keep up with it anymore. But in that short amount of time when I was live streaming, I was able to build an audience. I was able to restructure my business, and I was able to keep working and practicing on how I was going to, not how, but the content I was going to deliver. I have to tell you, when I'm on stage, is a very, very different delivery than what you're seeing now. It's probably the same, but a little bit more cleaned up. And that's what I really want all of you to realize is you have options. And for the most part, a lot of us don't realize how many options we have. And virtual is a very big option. I know it's not what everybody wants, but it is definitely something that can be used to your advantage. It absolutely can be used to your advantage. When you know all of this technology, you can record this, because everything we do right now, guess what? You can monetize this. You can put it into courses. You can put it into guides so that you can consistently have passive income based off your knowledge, or growing your YouTube channel, growing your watcher base, your listener base, everything. That's why I like virtual, and that's why I'm always surprised when people tell me, oh my gosh, I hate virtual, I hate doing this, I'm over it, it's not working. And that's the beauty of being able to take the time to figure out how it works. I've had to redo how I present based on virtual. Now when we go back live, I'll know how to do that because I've been doing it for years. But I also know that there's some elements about virtual that work 10 times better than being in a live audience. And there's some elements about being live that are 10 times better than going virtual. But I want to always keep this as an option because it's an option that has absolutely been working for me, and I want it to work for you. So if you're one of those people, of course, if you got questions about anything, if you're one of those people who is team I hate virtual, I want you to not give it to boot yet, because this is another asset in your bucket as a speaker. Hands down, is another asset. And for those of us who are leveraging speaking to travel, guess what? This is an asset that you can use to book multiple events in a short time span. Just imagine you're flying off to you're flying off to London, and you're there for another speaking engagement, but you're going to be comfortable. You're in your hotel room, your Airbnb, whatever, and you have the time, and you have the equipment, and you have the know-how to set up for another virtual event while you're in your hotel room getting ready for the other gig. That's why I like this, because you can take this with you. This is one of the things that you can take with you, and it doesn't have to be some weird little, dark hotel room, and on a laptop camera where it just looks creepy. No, by the time you finish watching all of my videos, hopefully, that would be nice. You'll know how to take your travel equipment with you, so that you can set up and have a virtual presentation from your phone, from your webcam, with the best lighting possible. And yes, you can take the shades off of hotel lanterns. I have done it, just so that you can create your own stage. So that's why I'm enjoying the virtual, because it just opens up so many doors of options on delivering content. I just did my creator session with Wonderful earlier, and we talked about so many of the different ways you can make money as a virtual presenter, from speaking to webinars to creating courses inside of somebody else's community, being contracted out to do webinars or educational series inside of somebody's community or job. Endless, endless. And you can do this while you have a live engagement at the same time. So before you hate virtual, I want you to give it another try. Just look at it as a way to experiment, as another asset that you can add into your pocket when it comes to speaking. And just realizing, if you get good at this, I mean, seriously, if you get good at this, you could take it with you. The setup is not going to be that hard. I took it with me in the RV, and I've done this in the RV quite a few times. It is absolutely possible for you to still deliver the same amount of quality virtually, as long as you're willing to put the effort and dedicate some time to educating yourself on how to be one of the best and most effective virtual presenters out there. That is what I want for you, and that is what I hope you're willing to do, so that you can just, have more options as a speaker. Now with that is all I have for you. I'm monitoring all of my monitors here. Like I said, doing this virtual thing is gonna just be very different than doing live. So, and I like it. I like it. This is live streaming, so this is not a virtual presentation, by the way. Just because I do think there's a difference. Okay, of course, if you got any questions, all you gotta do is put them in the comment box, and that's all I have for you. Hopefully, you will find a love of virtual. Considering that I created a whole live streaming studio, my plan is to keep using the studio for a very, very, very long time, because why not? It's been one of the best assets I've had in a long time when it comes to expanding my career out with speaking. So, with that, take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow, where we're going to talk about something very interesting. What that is, I have no idea. So take care of yourself. Stay healthy, stay safe. See you tomorrow.